How we doing today, my basketball family? Welcome back to Green Team Productions. So we're just coming off the NBA Finals, and of course the Golden State Warriors won in 6 games, and there's been a lot of talk about Jayson Tatum's play. And it really left a sour taste in a lot of basketball fans' mouths that he was only able to score 13 points in a closeout game. Now, it's completely normal for any NBA player to have a bad game, but it was really his lack of aggressiveness and looseness with the ball that really got some fans upset. Especially since in the previous rounds this year, he was able to find his way and able to elevate Boston to that next level. And that's what I kind of want to go through. And I want to start in round 1 with the Brooklyn Nets. Now, everyone knows that this Brooklyn Nets team was not at full strength because, of course, after they made the Ben Simmons-James Harden trade, Ben Simmons wasn't able to immediately come back and make an impact in this series. But even with that, there was a lot of NBA analysts and fans alike that definitely thought this series could go at least 6 to 7 games just because of the superstar power of Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. But after Boston ended up taking the first 2 games and they headed back to Brooklyn, this is the game where Jayson Tatum absolutely erupted. And this is huge because for many people, this was their Eastern Conference Finals in the first round, and this young Boston team is on the verge of going up 3-0 on the Nets. But in this do or die game, it was the young buck in Jayson Tatum who was able to take over and give his team the commanding 3-0 lead in the series. And he even played so well that he had some people questioning whether he was better than Kevin Durant. So coming off of this first round sweep, they had a lot of expectations going into round 2 versus the Milwaukee Bucks. And for the Milwaukee Bucks, they were missing a key player as well in Chris Middleton, which is huge because he's the second best player on that team and somebody that they really relied on when it came to the clutch shots or if they couldn't get anything going in the half court. But with Giannis having a historical series, he was able to counteract that, and they were able to trade games back and forth with Milwaukee until Milwaukee won game 5 and was going back home with a 3-2 lead. And in this do or die game 6, we get to see Jayson Tatum have his best game of this playoffs, dropping an absolutely insane 46-9, pushing the series to a game 7 back in Boston that, of course, as history tells you, Boston goes on to win and play the Miami Heat in the conference finals. And ultimately, this series would end up going 7 games as well, and this is really where my worry started to set in for Jayson Tatum and the Celtics. Because in my humble opinion, the Boston Celtics are much more talented than the Miami Heat, but as we will go on to see, this young Boston team still has a problem with closing out games. And in this series, I do put a lot of the blame on Jayson Tatum because there was so many moments where the Celtics could have took a grasp of the game and won, but I'm going to sound like a broken record, but it was really his lack of aggression. And I really felt that there were even times that the Boston Celtics were force-feeding Jayson Tatum, asking him, please go get us a bucket, close out this game, and he just wouldn't. And a really good example of this pops out in Game 7, because they had control of the whole game in Game 7, and it wasn't up until the last final closing minutes that Miami was able to pull it together and damn near win the game. Because as we all know, if Jimmy Butler hits that fast break 3, we are looking at a very different NBA Finals, although I feel like it would have came to the same result. But the basketball gods were not on the Miami Heat side, so Jimmy Butler missed that shot, and the Celtics were able to ultimately hold on and go play the Golden State Warriors in the NBA Finals. And as I said in my breakdown of Game 1 of the NBA Finals, this was an absolutely classic comeback by the Boston Celtics. They were down the literal entire game up until about 4.5 minutes left in the fourth. That is when Boston took their first lead. And it's not like it was a slight lead. Everyone watching that game felt like the Warriors had the whole game in complete control. But to my surprise, Boston was able to rally late, get hot, and still game 1, which I can't lie, it almost rattled my predictions because I had Golden State in 6 from the jump. Because if Boston was able to go into the Golden State and do the impossible and take both games on their home court, I don't know what the NBA world would have done. But as we were going to see, Golden State did much more of what they did in the first game, but they closed them out. And this is when I really realized that the Boston Celtics are a better team when their backs are up against the wall. They're not the better team when they're favored. And I believe that started with their superstar in Jayson Tatum, because in those games that they could take hold of this whole series, it would almost seem like he would be timid or just in some way scared of the moment. But just like in their previous 2 rounds, Boston trades blows with the Golden State Warriors. But the only thing is, this is a little bit of a different team than the last 2 teams you just faced. Because as you see, Curry comes out in Game 4 and absolutely annihilates the Boston Celtics with 43 points. And from then on, the Golden State Warriors had complete control of this series. And at this point, everyone is waiting for Jayson Tatum to have his signature moment, to have his signature game in the NBA Finals. And you go through Game 4, you go through Game 5, and you're waiting up until Game 6, and it never happens. You would almost think I was crazy if I was to tell you that if Jayson Tatum and Andrew Wiggins played in the finals, that Andrew Wiggins would have outplayed Jayson Tatum. But in my eyes, he did. Even players like Robert Williams. Now, I want to put the disclaimer out there. I don't believe that Robert Williams or Jaylen Brown is a better overall player than Jayson Tatum. But in this series, I feel like they had more impact on each game. So overall, I don't believe in the media hype. I don't believe that Jayson Tatum played absolutely terrible, but he definitely didn't play up to the top 10 player expectations that we all thought he would play at. And despite him with the 100 turnovers, the most for NBA history, that's going to be blown out the water by some player in 2030. The turnovers are going to be insane. I think that's just a part of the game. So I ultimately don't think this will really affect Jayson Tatum's career. I don't think that he is an overrated player. I still think that he is a superstar, but just like LeBron James, just like Kevin Durant just this year, not everybody is going to play at an all-time great level. And just as a reminder, Jayson Tatum is only in his 5th NBA season, and they've had so much playoff success, it's insane. So they're going to be around for a very long time. So in conclusion, just like every other player on the universe, Jayson Tatum has some room to grow, and they played an all-time great team. So I give the benefit of the doubt to the Jayson Tatum and the Celtics. I just want to see what they would come back and what they do next year. But I've been rambling on for too long. I want to know what you guys think down in the comments. Do you like the longer formatted videos where I'm actually breaking down just one singular player? Let me know down in the comments. Look out for some more basketball content throughout the summer. You guys enjoy, and peace.